The email sat at the top of Maya's inbox like a stone. She'd opened it by accident, really, thinking it was spam or maybe a phishing attempt. The subject line read, "Asset Transfer Confirmation. Immediate action required." The sender was listed as National Bullion Registry. She'd never heard of them. Her thumb hovered over the delete button, but something in the opening line made her stop. "Dear Miss Maya Soren, this is to confirm the successful registration of 72 gold bullion bars under your legal identity as of this morning. Total estimated value, redacted for security. Please contact our verification office immediately to confirm receipt and arrange secure storage or liquidation." Maya's throat went dry. She read it again, then a third time. Her hands started shaking before her brain fully caught up. She was sitting in her kitchen. It was Thursday morning. Coffee was getting cold. Outside, the neighbor's dog barked at nothing. Everything was the same as it had been 10 minutes ago, except now, apparently, she owned 72 gold bars. She set the phone down, very carefully, like it might explode. Her first thought was, this is a scam. Her second thought was, what if it isn't? She picked up the phone again, scrolled down. There was a reference number, a phone number, a link to a verification portal. It looked real, too real, the kind of real that scammers were good at faking. But there was something else. At the bottom of the email, in smaller text, this registration was completed in accordance with federal asset reporting laws. Failure to respond within 48 hours may result in legal and financial penalties. Maya stood up too fast. The chair scraped against the floor. Her chest felt tight. She opened her laptop and typed in the name, National Bullion Registry. It was real. A government-licensed entity, articles, reviews, a working website with a clean interface and official logos. Her stomach dropped. She went to the verification portal, entered the reference number, hit submit. The page loaded. And there it was, a full document. Her name, her social security number, her address, a timestamp from early that morning, a digital signature she'd never made, and at the center of the screen, bold and undeniable, Asset Holdings, 72 gold bullion bars, 1 kilogram each. Custodian, undisclosed third-party trust. Legal owner, Maya Soren. She slammed the laptop shut. Her breathing was shallow now. She looked around the kitchen, her small, rented kitchen in a building where the landlord still hadn't fixed the water pressure. She worked as a data analyst for a mid-tier insurance company. She made $58,000 a year. She had $1,200 in savings. She did not own gold bars, but according to this, she did. Maya sat back down. She opened the laptop again. She stared at the screen for a long time, trying to find something, anything that would explain this. Nothing. She thought about calling someone, but who? Her mom? Her coworker? The police? And say what? "Hi, I think someone put millions of dollars in gold under my name and I don't know why." They'd think she was insane or lying. She closed the laptop again. This time, she left it closed. For the rest of the day, she moved through her apartment like a ghost. She didn't eat, she didn't work, she just sat on the couch, staring at the wall, replaying the email over and over in her mind. By evening, the panic had given way to something else. Curiosity, or maybe temptation. She tried to push it down, but it kept rising. What if this is real? What if no one knows? What if I could just keep it? The thought horrified her, but it didn't leave. At 9 p.m., her phone rang. Unknown number. She let it go to voicemail. 2 minutes later, another call. Same number. She answered. "Hello? Miss Soren?" The voice was calm, professional, male. "Yes? This is Marcus Lee, Senior Compliance Officer with the National Bullion Registry. I'm calling to follow up on the asset notification we sent you this morning. Have you had a chance to review it?" Maya's mouth dried again. I saw it, but I don't understand. I understand this may be confusing," he interrupted smoothly. "These situations can be complex. The important thing is that we verify your identity and ensure proper legal handling. Can I confirm your social security number for security purposes?" "Wait, no, I don't." She stopped herself. I didn't register anything. I don't own any gold. This has to be a mistake. There was a pause. Miss Soren, I assure you, our records are verified through multiple federal databases. The registration was completed legally and is now part of your taxable asset portfolio. If you believe there's been an error, we'll need to open a formal investigation. But I have to warn you, if this is an attempt to evade reporting requirements, that carries serious legal consequences. Her heart hammered. I'm not evading anything. I don't know anything. I've never heard of you people until this morning. Another pause. Miss Soren, I'm going to send you a secure link. It will allow you to schedule an in-person verification meeting at one of our regional offices. I strongly recommend you do this within 24 hours. The longer this remains unresolved, the more complicated it becomes. Do you understand? Yes. Good. Expect the link in the next 10 minutes. Have a good evening. He hung up. Maya sat there, phone still pressed to her ear, listening to the silence. Her hands were shaking again. She didn't sleep that night. The office was in a corporate building downtown, sandwiched between a law firm and a dental clinic. The lobby had marble floors and a receptionist who smiled too much. Maya gave her name. The woman checked a screen, nodded, and gestured toward the elevator. 5th floor, Mr. Lee is expecting you. Maya's stomach twisted. She hadn't told anyone she was coming here. Not her mom, not her best friend, Jordan. She'd called in sick to work. She felt like she was walking into a trap, but she didn't know what else to do. The elevator doors opened onto a hallway with soft lighting and bland corporate art. At the end, a glass door with the registry's logo etched into it. She pushed it open. Inside, a woman in a blazer looked up from her desk. Miss Soren? Yes. Right this way. She was led into a small conference room, a table, 2 chairs, a window overlooking the street, and Marcus Lee. He was younger than she'd expected, maybe mid-30s, clean-cut, expensive suit. He stood when she entered and offered a hand. Miss Soren, thank you for coming. She shook his hand. It was cold. He gestured to a chair. She sat. He sat across from her, folding his hands on the table. I want to start by saying this isn't an interrogation. You're not in trouble, but we do need to clarify a few things. I don't understand any of this, Maya said, her voice harder than she felt. I didn't register anything. I don't know where this came from. I believe you, he said. She blinked. You do? Yes. This kind of thing, unfortunately, it happens more often than you think. What do you mean? He leaned back slightly. Sometimes assets are registered under someone's identity without their knowledge. It can be the result of clerical errors, identity theft, or, well, more complicated situations. Like what? Money laundering, trafficking, high-value asset transfers. People use real identities to hide assets. It's illegal, obviously, but it's also difficult to trace. Maya's blood drained from her face. So you're saying someone used me? Possibly. Who? That's what we need to find out. She stared at him. And what happens to me? That depends. If you cooperate and we determine you had no knowledge or involvement, you'll be cleared. But if you try to access the assets or if you failed to report this properly, it becomes a problem. I don't want the assets, she said, her voice rising. I want this to go away. I understand, but it's not that simple. Until we identify the source, the registration remains active, and that means, legally, you're responsible for it. Felt like she was going to be sick. So what do I do? You let us investigate, you answer our questions, and you don't talk to anyone else about this. Not friends, not family, not a lawyer, not yet. Why not a lawyer? His expression didn't change. Because if this is part of a larger criminal operation, involving outside parties too early could compromise the investigation or put you at risk. Maya's pulse spiked. At risk from who? We don't know yet. She wanted to leave, she wanted to run, but she didn't. Okay, she said quietly. What do you need from me? He smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. Just your patience. Maya left the office an hour later, her head spinning. She'd signed forms, answered questions, given access to her bank accounts, her phone logs, her work history. They'd told her it was standard procedure. They'd told her she was doing the right thing. But something about Marcus Lee's smile lingered. She was halfway to the subway when her phone buzzed. A text from Jordan. "Yo, where are you? Okay?" Maya hesitated. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard. She started typing, "I need to tell you something," then stopped. "Don't talk to anyone." She deleted the message. "Yeah, just not feeling great. I'll call you later." She shoved the phone in her pocket and kept walking, but she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching her. That night, Maya sat at her kitchen table, staring at her laptop. She'd Googled Marcus Lee, found nothing. No LinkedIn, no social media, no articles. She searched for gold bar scams, found hundreds of results, none that matched her situation. She searched for asset registration fraud, found legal jargon and government warnings. She was about to close the laptop when she saw it. A forum post, buried 6 pages deep in a financial crimes subreddit. The title, "Has anyone ever had assets appear under their name they didn't register?" She clicked. The post was 3 months old. The username was deleted, but the text was still there. "I'm in trouble and I don't know who to talk to. Last month, I found out there are properties registered under my name. Houses, land. I've never bought property in my life. I went to the police. They told me to contact a federal office. I did. They told me they'd investigate, but now I'm being followed. I see the same car outside my apartment. I get calls from numbers that hang up when I answer. I don't know what to do. If anyone has been through this, please help." There were 3 replies. The first, "Lawyer up immediately." The second, "Sounds like a shell company scheme. You're a patsy." The third, "Be careful who you trust. Not all investigators are clean." Maya's chest tightened. She scrolled down. There was one more reply, posted 2 weeks after the original. "OP hasn't posted since. Hope they're okay." Maya closed the laptop. She didn't sleep again that night. The next morning, there was a knock at her door. Maya froze. She wasn't expecting anyone. She looked through the peephole. A woman, mid-40s, dressed in a gray pantsuit, badge clipped to her belt. Maya opened the door a crack. "Miss Soren?" "Yes?" "I'm Detective Rena Campos. I'd like to ask you a few questions." Maya's stomach dropped. "About what? May I come in?" Maya hesitated, then nodded. Campos stepped inside. She glanced around the apartment with the practiced eye of someone used to reading spaces. "Nice place," she said, though it clearly wasn't. Maya didn't respond. Campos turned to face her. "I'll get to the point. We've been monitoring a financial network connected to organized crime, laundering, trafficking, high-value asset transfers. Your name came up." Maya's mouth dried. "I know," Campos said, holding up a hand. "I don't think you're involved, but someone used your identity, and I need to know who." "I already talked to someone from the registry." Campos's expression shifted. "What registry?" "National Bullion Registry, a guy named Marcus Lee." Campos was quiet for a moment. "Miss Soren, there's no one by that name registered with any federal compliance office. I checked." The floor seemed to tilt. "What?" "Whoever you talked to, he's not law enforcement, and he's not with any legitimate agency." Maya's felt the walls closing in. "Then who is he?" "That," Campos said slowly, "is what I need you to help me figure out." Over the next 2 hours, Campos walked Maya through everything: the email, the call, the meeting, the forms she'd signed. With every detail, Campos's expression grew darker. "You gave him access to your bank accounts?" "I said it was procedure." "It's not." "Then what do I do?" Campos leaned forward. "You help me catch him." Maya stared at her. "How?" "He'll contact you again. When he does, you record it. You agree to another meeting, and we'll be there." "What if he knows? What if he—" "We'll protect you. Like you protected the person from the forum." Campos blinked. "What?" Maya told him about the post, the deleted user, the silence. Campos's jaw tightened. I don't know anything about that, but I know this. If you don't help us, whoever's behind this will use you until you're no longer useful, and then you'll disappear too. Maya's hands were shaking again. I don't want to disappear. Then trust me. 3 days later, Marcus Lay called again. Maya answered. Campos was sitting across from her, listening through a second phone. Miss Soren, I hope you're well. I'm fine. Good. We need to finalize a few things. Can you come back to the office? When? Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Okay. Excellent. See you then. He hung up. Campos looked at Maya. You did good. Maya didn't feel good. The next morning, Maya walked into the same building, same lobby, same elevator, but this time she wore a wire. Campos and 2 other officers were parked outside in an unmarked car. Maya stepped into the conference room. Marcus Lay was already there. He smiled. Miss Soren, right on time. She sat. He slid a folder across the table. These are liquidation forms. If you sign them, we can begin converting the assets into cash. It'll take about a week. Then the funds will be transferred to an account of your choosing. Maya looked down at the forms. Her hands didn't move. What if I don't want to liquidate? He tilted his head. I'm sorry? What if I just want this to go away? His smile faded. Miss Soren, I don't think you understand. This isn't optional. The assets are registered. The law requires. Who are you really working for? Silence. His eyes went cold. Excuse me? I talked to a real detective. She said you're not with any federal office, so who are you? For a moment, he didn't move. Then he stood. You made a mistake. The door opened. 2 men stepped in. Big, silent. Maya's heart stopped. You should have signed the forms, Lay said quietly. One of the men reached for her. The door burst open. Police, hands up! Campos stormed in, gun drawn, 2 officers behind her. Lay didn't run. He just stood there, staring at Maya with something close to pity. You have no idea what you just did. Marcus Lay was arrested, so were the 2 men. The gold bars were seized. The investigation expanded. Campos told Maya she'd be protected, that she'd be safe. But 3 weeks later, Maya got a call from an unknown number. She didn't answer. The voicemail was short. A man's voice, calm, almost polite. Miss Soren, my name is not important, but you should know Marcus was just an employee. The people he worked for are still out there, and they don't forget. The line went dead. Maya reported it. Campos escalated it. Security was discussed, but nothing happened. No more calls, no more threats, just silence. Maya moved to a different city 6 months later, changed her number, started over. She got a job, made new friends, tried to forget, but every time she opened her email, every time her phone rang from an unknown number, her chest tightened. She never found out who really put those gold bars under her name. She never found out what happened to the person from the forum, and she never stopped wondering, if she just signed the forms that day, would she have been safer? Or would she have disappeared too? 1 year later, Maya was walking home from work. The street was quiet. The sun was setting. She passed a newsstand. A headline caught her eye. Federal probe uncovers international gold smuggling ring. 12 arrested. She bought the paper, skimmed the article. Marcus Lay's name was mentioned, so were others, but buried in the final paragraph, a single line. Authorities believe several key figures remain at large. Maya folded the paper. She kept walking. Behind her, a car idled at the corner. It didn't follow, but it didn't leave either.